This disclaimer was copied without permission.
Cheers, quaffers, guzzlers, swiggers, sippers, and all other good people out there. Hopswatch here, and yes, that was a younger version of me. I did indeed used to play the pipes. I did that for 13 years, and that was me playing with my band, the Heather Pipes and Drums of Copenhagen and Alden, Belgium, near Liège in 2009. That was to build a bit on the theme that I'm laying out in these videos, the whiskey barrel matured ales from Amager Bryghus. Judging by the stories that are told on the labels of these fine beers, the scene is definitely Scotland. So why not throw an extra bit of Scotland in there, even when it's actually Belgium, where they, by the way, also make really good beers? I seem to be treading water here. So today we'll have I've got the dragon glass ready, of course. So this is a wee heavy, also known as a Scottish ale or Scots ale. The Scottish climate is far from ideal for growing hops. Bracken, on the other hand, but that's a different story. So they tend to be not particularly bitter, the Scottish ales. Also, at least among mainland Europeans, British ales are often seen as stale and thin. This would be due to the lower amount of hops in them. Now let's see how this beer makes up for that. You see, word has it that these beers make up for the lack of hops by being more malty. So let's have a go at it. Wonder if I will get a whiff of this the same way I got from the last one, from the Bugri. So it's as if there's a bit less pressure in the bottle. The cap doesn't go off that easily. No whiff, but hey, you can have good beers even when there's no whiff at the opening. So definitely a bit more laid back. Sunshine. Sorry. I'll never do that again. I promise. Sounds great. I just love the sound of the CO2 dissipating in foam. So well, I should have brought some fire. I got fire, so let's have a look and see. A very, very fine red hue if you place some light behind it. I hope you can see this because it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. I see the headlines. House catches fire, caught on YouTube video. Cheers. Well, just the whiff first, of course. So this is not an orgy of bouquet impressions. It's definitely more laid back. Look, I didn't sing. So lightly sour notes, prunes in cognac. Is that called brandy? I'll call it cognac. It's originally from France, as far as I know, and they call it that. Sherry, a whiff of sherry. So some berries of varying kinds, prunes, and an alcoholic note of brandy. So this is going to be interesting. So definitely not much of a stout impression. It's definitely not a stout, this one. I thought that all the whiskey barrel matured ales that they came out with from Amager Bryghus were actually all stouts. It seems that they are of varying types. And let's have a taste at it. You want this brew to linger on your tongue and just draw in every single little note there is of aroma, because there's a huge amount of aroma in this. I will concede the fact that it's not a very hopsy beer. It is still bitter though. It's more a bitterness of dark wood than pine or fir. Typically, very hopsy beers have a flavour of pine needles and fir needles rather than wood, and this has more of an aroma of hardwood. And definitely a very, very rich malty feel to it. It has an untraditional mouthfeel to it. Very, very soft, very, very comfortable. Not much CO2 in there, and that is a complaint that many mainland Europeans indeed have about British beer, that they lack CO2, and therefore often they kind of feel a bit thin to them. This doesn't, however. It makes up with the amount of malt in it manyfold whatever it would lack in hopsiness and CO2. So even though this beer is quite less strong than the other one, this has an ABV of 9.5. The former one had 12%. This is actually more of a sipping beer, and it is so rich in malt that it actually could get a bit too much if you drink it too quickly. So this is for sipping. And only sipping. It's a massive beer, absolutely scrumptious. So also some licorice notes in there. And the maltiness gives you a feeling of the beer kind of sticking to your tongue and to your teeth and your gums. Sounds icky, but it's actually great. It tends, however, to become just a wee bit rancid at the back of the mouth if you take too much in at a time. So definitely drink this slowly and really enjoy every bit of it. And if you enjoy it too quickly, it may become a bit too much. Yeah. So I won't waste any more time sipping this beer in front of you. I'll give this a solid 5 out of 6. So the reason why it doesn't get 6 is that even as good as it is and as rich as it is in its flavor and its aroma, there's just a wee bit of unbalance in it that it becomes just a bit too much if you take it in too quickly. So and I mean, other beers that have that property tend to becoming maybe a bit too sweet, and then you can compensate that with taking a pause. But I kind of feel like the slight rancidity of this beer sticks to my gums now, and that kind of annoys me. But I mean, we're in minuscule details here. This is still a very, very good beer, and I definitely recommend it to anyone. Well done, Amager Bryghus. You did it again. And I'm just I'm just a really, really shitty person who finds something to complain about in practically anything. So don't take it personally. It's a very fine beer. It is. So that's only left for me to say that you should, you ought to, you definitely ought to, but nobody's forcing you to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, that would be in Danish, and on my blog that would also be in Danish. I'm also on Untapped, and I've got a YouTube channel, big surprise, and apart from that, always remember to drink responsibly. Always remember to drink responsibly. Until next time. Cheers. Fuck. Fik jeg da galt i halsen.